New details now. The city of Orlando bringing in a group to study its officers and target any potential racism within policing methods. There have been increased calls for the department to be reviewed following civil unrest around the country. Mayor Buddy Dyer and Police Chief Orlando Rolon announced yesterday that city leaders are going to pay $850,000 to bring in 2 outside consulting firms to examine procedures. And we're honored to have Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer with us this morning to talk more about it. First of all, it's good to see you because it has been way too long.
It really has, Amy. Good to see you too.
All right, so
I have the TV on so I can see you up there
I'm glad.
as well.
We're enjoying having you with us this morning. So in the last hour, we spoke to Police Chief Rolon, who talked a little bit more about what this sort of community trust and equity initiative looks like, how it would work. In your own words, can you describe it for the community?
It's a top to bottom review of all of our policies and actions that we take as a police department. There's been a national discussion on racial inequity, and one of the things we do in Orlando, we try to be proactive. We don't think we have the issues that some other agencies have around the country, but we're not afraid to look under the hood. I think that speaks well of our police department and officers as a whole, that they are embracing the idea that we're willing to have outside people come in with no bias one way or the other, but take a look at all of our policies and then look at whether our training is training officers on our policies, and then whether when they're actually in the field, their training is allowing them to make the decisions that are within the policies that we have as a police department in the city.
So, Mr. Mayor, one thing that the city has already done well for a long time is community policing, where the officers really get out in the community. They work to try to improve relationships with people. Do you anticipate that that is something that would continue?
Absolutely. In fact, we're through a COPS grant from the federal government, we're adding an additional 10 officers to a specific community policing unit. And just yesterday, actually, some of the interviewing of current officers was being done to see who might be placed within that unit. So yeah, it's important. And Amy, the way we look at it, we're not policing the community, we are policing the community together. The community has to help us with all of that.
No, that's a very good point, actually. It takes both sides, that's for sure. When would the study start? Because it hasn't actually officially been approved yet, is that right?
We will bring the contracts to council next Monday at our next council meeting, and then there'll be, Dr. Bowman said that they would be in town within the next week or so to start interviews in the early phases of it. And it's an 8-month process, but they won't wait for 8 months to give us results. If there are things that they can help us with immediately, then we'll take some actions immediately. And one of the things that we're looking at is a co-response pilot program, which means there are some times when you get a 911 call that it might be more appropriate for a mental health counselor to respond to a call than a police officer, or maybe it would be a joint response between a mental health counselor of some sort and a police officer. So we're trying to figure out how to do that, and that might be one of the things that can help us with it right off the bat.
Well, it sounds like we're on the right track, and we appreciate what you're doing, Mayor Buddy Dyer. Thanks for taking the time to be with us this morning.
All right, good to be with you guys.
Good to see you. Hope to see you in person someday.
Okay.